Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 106-103 loss to the Denver Nuggets. Now, tonight, the Raptors coming off an 8-game win streak, playing against one of the top teams in the Western Conference, down most of the game, especially after the second quarter. Denver went on a big run. They were playing well. We make a charging comeback. It looks like we're gonna make the W, make the comeback win, and we lose it at the buzzer. We lose it, in the last few seconds of the game. Heartbreaker to watch for a Toronto Raptors fan. Really exciting game though. Two very high caliber teams going at it, and there's a lot to talk about in this one. And I know, looking at Twitter, Reddit, all that sort of stuff, Raptors fans are a bit demoralized after this one, but I don't necessarily think we should really overreact too much. Before I, end up slamming our team, I don't think we should overreact at all, because the Denver Nuggets are a really good team. They're on a huge win streak themselves. We have to take it all in perspective. We've had some tough games. We just came off a high of beating the Golden State Warriors, which is always cool. So we can't stress about this too much, but there's definitely some issues that we saw in this game. And maybe if we win and Kyle Lowry hits that last shot, they get overlooked. But definitely some things we got to point out tonight. But first, we'll start off with the positives, because I like talking about the positives when it comes to the Raptors. And it's got, Kawhi Leonard once again showing how dominant he is, showing how he shows up for big games. 27 points, 8 rebounds. 10 for 19 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, which was kind of rough. He hit one nice one in the third quarter, but you want to see Kawhi hit a few more threes, but otherwise a pretty all-around phenomenal game for Kawhi, bullying his way to the rim, playing solid defense. Kawhi does it on a nightly basis. When he's not scoring, he's attracting a bunch of defense. He's passing very well this year. His handle's greatly improved. Kawhi does it for the Toronto Raptors. He's what makes us go, especially where Lowry's struggling, getting a shot now, getting a shot in the hoop these days. Kawhi's very, very valuable to our team and being a consistent offensive player. So shout out to Kawhi Leonard for bringing it tonight. There was a tough stretch there in the second and third quarter, and Kawhi was on the court for a while there, but he didn't get many shots in the third quarter. When we go through offensive lulls, we need to give the ball to Kawhi. He's a top-tier NBA player. He's a top-tier NBA scorer. He's capable of getting a shot when we go through these lulls. So when we really need to make a couple shots, we should try and get Kawhi open looks. Swing the ball and get him. Because the thing about Kawhi, he's all about the team. He does everything trying to win. He gives the ball up to people within the flow of the offense. He's not a very ball-dominant player. Obviously, he runs ISOs and stuff like that. But he's a willing guy to play within an offense. You don't need him to create. He can play off the ball. He does all those sorts of things. He's not like Kevin Durant, for example, who wants the ball 24/7 because he's a great scorer. He wants, to have the ball in his hands. And obviously that's a great thing at times, but when we need a bucket, when the offense is a bit stagnated, I wouldn't mind for Kawhi to demand the ball a bit more. That's just one of my perspectives. Obviously, there's a lot to take from this game. Couple more positives. Siakam was still pretty good, 14 points, 7 assists for Pascal, 6 rebounds. It's great to see him kind of, he has the ball in his hand so much. It's nice to see him create with the pass a little bit more. His assist numbers are a bit lower than you'd expect this season because he has the ball in his hand so much, and he does make a lot of nice passes and nice plays. So 7 assists for Siakam, which is a great sight to see. Serge, once again, played pretty solid, 15 points, 5 rebounds. Danny Green hit a few shots, 3 for 7 at the three-point line. He's doing Danny Green things, hitting his open threes at a consistent clip, playing good defense. And Lowry did a phenomenal job tonight at creating, passing the ball. He's done that all season. He's turned himself into probably this season, probably the best creator in the NBA. I'm not necessarily saying he's the best passer and all that, but as of right now, as of the season thus far, he's been doing a phenomenal job at orchestrating the offense and getting looks for people. So I gotta give credit to Kyle Lowry on that front, and he did the same thing tonight. But when Kyle is most valuable, and this is the problem with Kyle the past few games, right? He's passing the ball, he's getting people these open looks, which is phenomenal. He's an all-star point guard. Obviously, he's doing great things. But what really sets him apart and makes him our team leader is he's the guy that, I talked about Kawhi demanding the ball and stuff. Kyle Lowry's usually that guy. He's not afraid to take big shots. He's not afraid to get us a bucket when we need it. And obviously, with the talented roster that we have, I'm not asking Kyle to have a average 21, 24, 27 points per game. If he's low scoring averages, that's fine. But he can't have shooting slumps like this. 1 for 6 from the three-point line from Kyle. He's such a good slasher. We saw this a bit last year, and I mentioned this on a lot of podcasts last season and heading into the playoffs last year. Kyle Lowry is so good at using his body, getting in the lane, and finishing around the rim. And even the mid-range jump shots, creating shots off the dribble. So when his three-point shot isn't going, he tends to settle for them. It's kind of weird, when he's cooking, he starts driving in and creating, and he's more comfortable with his offense. But when he's struggling with his jumper, he just settles for more. He tries to shoot his way out of it. When, in my opinion, I think if he goes to the rim, gets to the free throw line, that sort of thing, I think Kyle Lowry, then the three-point shot will start falling. He's in the flow of the offense. And tonight, he only had 5 points, 1 for 7 from the field, only 2 free throws. If the three-point shot's not going, obviously Kyle Lowry's so skilled. He has the ability to slash, the ability to drive. I think he should take advantage of it more. Obviously we don't want Kyle Lowry, every time he drives in, he gets thrown to the floor. But, that's a part of his game. And we don't want him to get injured. We don't want him doing anything stupid, but he can't completely veer away from it. He can't completely just be a three-point shooter, especially when the shot isn't going. So a bit more aggressiveness from our top 2 guys. That's something that I saw from this game. And the mob. The bench mob, they didn't have awful stats tonight. Fred VanVleet was the only one that really, really struggled. And DeLon Wright was pretty good in stretches as well. He's been DeLon Wright's been pretty solid in that end of the third, beginning of the fourth stretch he gets in the game. So shout out to DeLon. He's been all right in that stretch for the past 4 or 5 games. But otherwise, the mob has just really looked out of it, in my opinion. We saw OG and CJ hit a couple shots tonight, but when the mob is out there, they really don't have it as a whole. And I sound like a broken record because every time I say this, it's because of Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet was the reason of the bench mob last year. And when he struggles, even when the other guys aren't shooting that bad, because, we've seen CJ have a lot worse nights shooting the ball from the field. OG was 2 for 3 from the three-point line. DeLon Wright hit 1 for 1 from 3. But the mob just looked out of it, in my opinion. They just didn't look all there. Jonas, he's been floating around the past few games. He has 8 points and 10 rebounds in 18 minutes. But, I'm a huge Jonas supporter. I love Jonas. I think he's a great NBA player. But the last few games, and I want him to get more minutes because I like the way he plays, but he just seems a bit out of it. He had 8 points tonight. The stats aren't bad for the bench, but if you watch this game, you saw they were a bit lethargic. They let Denver really, really just take him out, and they played some minutes against, Jamal Murray and stuff. So they were playing against some of Denver's starters, but we got to be better. I'm not saying we have to necessarily be the bench mob from last year, the best bench in the NBA. Obviously now with Siakam in the power forward position and Jakob Poeltl being sent away. But honestly, we have Jonas, who's a lot better than Jakob Poeltl on the bench now. So that might be not an excuse, but it's obviously a different style of play. The bench had that fast pace, quickness, all that sort of stuff. But regardless, we can't be getting outplayed by every other team's bench on a night-to-night basis. Malik Beasley came in with 15 points and 3 threes and just absolutely killed us tonight. Morris on their team at 8 points. Mason Plumlee, obviously, he didn't have too many buckets tonight, but he comes out there with a lot of energy and aggressiveness and, looks a bit more polarized and into the game than our bench did. So, I don't know. In my opinion, I think the mob has really got to pick it up. And, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the mob, because it seems like every podcast, the past few ones, I've been talking about him in some sense. I think the key is Fred VanVleet just getting back to what he does. He's got to stop waiting till the end of the shot clock to start being Fred VanVleet, because as a smaller guard, you can't wait to do that. It doesn't really make sense. Hopefully he gets back to better decision-making, but maybe I'm missing something. I want to hear from you guys what you think about the bench mob. Will we get it back or whatnot? Regardless, we can talk about the Nuggets a little bit. Jamal Murray's nasty. We all know that, being Canadians and supporting Canada basketball. He had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists tonight. Yeah, he's the real deal. Jamal Murray's a top-notch NBA guy. Hopefully he'll be an all-star someday. I think he will be, at some point. Obviously the West is loaded with guards, so probably not this season. But, Jamal Murray's a beast. Nikola Jokic, 23 points, 15 rebounds, or 11 rebounds, 15 assists. The one thing about the Nuggets, and a lot of this is to do with Jokic, the offense running through him, and even Paul Millsap, who's a pretty good, he has a good basketball IQ. They are a phenomenal passing team. You watch them swing the ball around the floor, Jokic throwing those skip passes, Murray being able to create and drive and dish, dump offs. They're a really well-rounded team. The way they move the ball, it's a really fun brand of basketball. I wouldn't mind watching more Denver Nuggets games because it's very pleasing. It's visually, aesthetically pleasing seeing the ball swing around. And Jokic, he's a bit weird. He's a big kind of gronky guy out there, but he's a phenomenal player, and those obscurely built players that are really good, do things differently. They're always fun to watch. So shout out to the Denver Nuggets. I'm a fan of their team. They came in here, they beat us. It hurts as a Raptors fan to lose, but that's how it goes. Anyways, we're going to swing it straight into the segments tonight. The Kawhi You Do 'Em Like That play of the day. And it's going to Serge Ibaka. How hungry are you, Serge? My fuzzy. I don't know if he's got one this year, a Kawhi You Do 'Em Like That play of the day. But the Raptors were on a run. It looked like they were making a comeback. The ball gets dumped off to Serge in the paint, and Serge just rises up for a 2012 Serge Ibaka nasty yam. It was pretty exciting to see. Got the Raptors momentum. Honestly, after watching that, I thought the Raptors was going to win. I thought that was, Serge Ibaka's throwing down dunks like that. You don't lose momentum, but we did. Unfortunately, it's how it went, but exciting to see Serge have a nice little jam like that, looking like a 2012 ups there. He had some ups back in his day. Still can throw it down. He's had some pretty underrated dunks this season. I got to give credit to the Serge. Still got those ups. Anyways, but not all plays can be the Kawhi You Do 'Em Like That play of the day. And some just make you say, oh, geez. And tonight, the oh, geez play of the day, it's going to Kyle Lowry. At the end of the game, because I felt like the Raptors going to win this. Watching it, I thought we were going to win. Not going to lie. We've been on such a great streak. We came back, and Kyle Lowry got the ball at the end. We were down by 3, and he just let it fly. The shot was looking straight. I know Kyle Lowry's shot was off tonight, but it was going in straight. Looking at the screen, watching on NBA stream, shout out to Reddit. My heart was held back, and then it hit the back of the rim, and I literally said, "Oh geez," at my monitor. I was a bit sad, getting a bit of low key PTSD here from that miss, but that's how it goes. We can't be feeling sad about it. We got too many good games coming up. Definitely made me say, oh geez, as a Raptors fan. And finally, the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award. And it's not just this is a cumulative DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award. I already talked about him. The bench, you gotta be better. I want the bench mob from last season. I know I said earlier that we don't need. I want that back, because you know what? If we have that mob back, if we have the mob cooking once again, we killing it out here. No one can stop us. The mob is like a fourth all-star. That's my opinion. If we can get the mob back, we're chilling. So hopefully Fred can get his stuff together. Jonas can get his stuff together. That we start playing as a collective again. Not an awful game. I hope I wasn't too negative on this podcast. Obviously, it hurts to lose to the Denver Nuggets, who are a solid team. You want to win these big games, but we can't win them all. We're on an 8-game win streak. We're still top of the league. Life is good. Life is good as Raptors fans. We got a tough schedule coming up, so we can't get down if we lose a few games. And anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Let me know what you guys think about this game. You're the best for listening this far. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. Gonna be honest, I haven't really been on the Insta the past few days, a couple days, since the last pod, maybe. I don't really know. So if you got DMs there, I'll check them out after I upload this. So sorry if I missed your request for a shout out. A lot of cool stuff coming. Anyways, I'm signing off. Cheers.